On behalf of American Airlines, thank you for joining us. I'm Jeff Corum, head of JFK T8 Commercial Affairs. As terminal operator of JFK Terminal 8, it's an exciting moment for American Airlines. American Airlines recently completed its $400 million terminal expansion that provided an enhanced travel experience for our customers and those of our partners. Now, we move on to the next phase of transforming JFK Terminal 8, a $125 million commercial redevelopment program being completed in partnership with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, along with JFK T8 Innovation Partners. This investment will expand and upgrade the concessions program with dynamic and all-new retail and dining options, placing an emphasis throughout the design, build, ownership, and operation on engaging locally owned and diverse businesses that reflect Queens, New York City, and New York State's one-of-a-kind spirit and culture. Together with the Port Authority and JFK T8 Innovation Partners, we look forward to providing a world-class experience for all those who travel and work at Terminal 8. JFK T8 Innovation Partners has been working hard to find concessionaire partners by engaging with the community. We at American Airlines could not have chosen a more dedicated commercial partner. Now we are ready to connect local, diverse businesses and build opportunities, and we look forward to working with all of you.
Thanks everyone for joining our second session for the JFK Terminal 8 Concessions Redevelopment Program. My name is Elson Bacali. I will be the moderator today. If we can bring up the presentation, please, and then we can start by introducing our panelists. We have a new member of the crew today. His name is Jonathan Reyes. Jonathan, take it away.
How's it going, everyone? Jonathan Reyes, VP and Project Executive for URW for the new Terminal 1. I'm happy to be joining my colleagues and our partners for T8 here today. For a quick introduction on the Terminal 1 project at JFK. So the new Terminal 1 with a grand opening for Phase A of 2026 will consist of 150,000 or so square feet of concession space that compromises about 80 to 85 actual concession spaces. So there'll be, plenty of opportunities coming along the way between a few months from now to end of 2026 for all the A&Es and contractors on board.
Hello, everybody. Pleasure to be here. Dennis Shadakin, Project Manager with URW. Hand it over to Quentin.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Quentin Bailey, Compliance Specialist with RF Wilkins Consultants.
We're going to take the beginning of this call. We're going to take a few minutes to answer some of the open questions that we received in our last session. And we will then go on to the next part of the presentation that Dennis will lead. So some of the questions that we received last time that we'd like to start with. So we'll start with the first one. Quentin, this one is for you. We are a MWBE certified architectural and interior design firm with over 23 years of high-end retail TI experience. Is there a list of prime or larger architectural firms so that I can partner with them?
Well, I think the first step would be to send a request to meet with us to the inbox info t8@rfwconsultants.com. What we'll do is put together a profile of your company once you share your capability statements and share your just a summary of your current projects. And we'll work with you if you're not certified yet, or if your certification is in process. We'll review that with you, get that updated, and then share that profile with our design and development teams. And certainly they are here to connect you with opportunities at T8.
Thank you, Quentin. This is slightly related to that, so I figured I'll pass that on to you as well. Is there a contact to reach out to become a retailer at T8?
For retailers, yes, it's important that you're ACDBE certified for those retail opportunities. Again, you can send us a meeting request to infota@rfwconsultants.com, and we can review the specifics for the concessions program at T8 for retail, food and beverage, and those related opportunities.
Can I also add, we actually done a session on being a retailer in the previous outreach events, and I would suggest and recommend everyone to go to a website that I will ask Rosie to put on in the chat. It's the newjfkt8.com, and you'll be able to get a lot of these previous sessions, including the past leasing related type of session where you can get a lot more information on that as well.
Thank you, Dennis. This next question is going to be for you, actually. Will we be able to get the slides? I'm assuming it's the slides of this presentation they're asking about.
Yes, that's actually a perfect question, because on the same website you're able to get the slides for this presentation, as well as all the previous outreach events that we have done. So it's a really good resource for everybody to create a much better awareness of everything that's happening. So yeah, definitely.
Perfect. This next one is also going to be for you. I want to be a part of the construction because I'm a builder and I can do interior and exterior work with my workers. Is it that we have to bid or apply for an application? I want to do the job with you. Please let me know the process. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is I'm going to answer this a little bit heavy in terms of my response. So in the last, during our last outreach event, we have obviously received an overwhelming amount of questions, which is great, and we want to provide to the community and as a respect the answers to all of your concerns and all the questions. And we figured it would be a good opportunity for us to take this session essentially dedicated to answering the questions. And then from that point on, we will segue into the contractor awareness slides and essentially the subsequent events we will have from this point on. Now, to answer this particular question, yes, absolutely. There will be a touch point opportunities in the next sessions where we will introduce various contractors to the community, and each contractor will be able to talk about their airport experiences. They'll be able to essentially provide their certification processes. And then from that point on, that gives you that touch point and that link to be able to collaborate and sign up with the various contractors that we have here working in the airport.
Thank you, Dennis. Quentin, I'll direct this next one to you. Are there participation goals for this project for WBE and MBE businesses?
Absolutely. With all Port Authority projects, there's an MWBE participation goal. It's 30%, which is comprised of 20% for minority certified businesses, MBEs, and that includes MWBEs. And then there's a 10% WBE goal as well. So together, in all phases of the redevelopment and the work at Port Authority facilities, there's that goal is associated with all our procurements, all their procurements.
Thank you. Dennis, this one is back at you. Is it possible to get a list of the approved general contractors?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned, towards the end of this session, we will create awareness and highlight the contractors that we identified and we've been working with. And you'll certainly be able to see that towards the second portion of this outreach event.
Thank you. We'll stay with you. Will there be any contracts for low voltage?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of opportunities for the subcontractors and community. Low voltage is certainly one of them. All of our tenants will need some sort of security, whether it's cameras or a music shutdown type of installations. So I would say, yeah, there's definitely a lot of opportunity for low voltage contractors.
Thank you. Jonathan, I think you can answer some of these. So let's start with the first one. Is this a union project?
Yes, this project as well as T1 for Port Authority will be union projects.
Thank you. We have a question here that either you, Jonathan, or you, Dennis, can take. Do you have a need for asbestos survey or abatement? I mean, Terminal 1 is brand new, so not for that one. But
Yeah, for Terminal 1, we will not. For Terminal 8, the Port Authority has their own asbestos process, separate from New York City Building Department. So for this particular building as well, it will not be necessary.
thank you. Dennis, this one's for you. Are there any pre-progress post-photography, videography, or drone or public outreach?
Yeah, look, I think there's a lot of opportunities, especially with our tenants. Once you open your beautiful restaurant, you obviously want to highlight it to the public, right? So I'm sure there's going to be plenty of opportunities for that. As I mentioned, the previous leasing outreach event that we've done, which kind of allows you to understand what are the nuances of being a retailer or how to connect with a retailer. I think that could be a good resource to kind of explore as well, on top of the contractor events that we will be conducting after this outreach.
Thank you. This one is back with you again. Will there be in-person events in the future to meet the primes?
So we are scheduling 3 meet the contract and meet the prime events, virtual events. At this time, this is how we're structuring this. I'm sure if there is a need to conduct something in person, we can certainly explore that. But there are already 3 events scheduled to meet the primes after this outreach.
Thank you, Dennis. With regards to glass workers needed, is this referring to exterior glass glazing? That'll be for you again, I suppose, Dennis.
Yeah, so there's nothing really exterior that we will need to do in this terminal, but there will be plenty of opportunities for interior work as it relates to glass and glazing. Storefronts would be one of them I can think of, as well as any type of finishes that the tenants would design. So I'm more than sure there's going to be plenty of opportunities for a glass contractor.
Thank you. Along those lines, are there any opportunities for QA, QC inspections, special inspections, material testing, or any other specialty testing?
Most definitely. It's one of the special inspections, one of the requirements of the Port Authority. So there will be certainly opportunities for structural special inspection. There'll be opportunity for fire safety special inspections, fireproofing, things like that. So yeah, definitely.
Thank you. Jonathan, I'm going to pass this on to you. Do subcontractors need to be in union harmony in order to participate in any one of these projects?
Yes, that is correct. So full union sites, including subcontractors.
Thank you. I suppose this one is for you, Dennis. Will there be any land surveying opportunities?
No, not on this particular project. No, everything is inside the terminal. It's all interior work, so there's unfortunately no opportunities for land survey.
Thank you. Quentin, I'm going to pass this one to you. This one is a clarification. I was told in other terminals that in order to be considered for MWBE goals, one has to be certified with New York State, but quote unquote, not necessary with the Port Authority of the New York, New Jersey. Is this correct? If so, how do you mean one has to be registered with the Port Authority of NYNJ?
Understood. So yes, to be considered for MWBE participation for any of the JFK redevelopment projects, you must be either certified by the Port Authority or New York State. So yes, you don't necessarily need to be Port Authority certified, but we do encourage it because the Port Authority has many facilities with all kinds of procurements associated with all of their facilities. So we do encourage that. And remember that the Port Authority is also a bi-state agency, so that gives you access or access to participation for New Jersey projects as well. And then the second part, just about registering, it's not really a registration, it's really the certification that qualifies you for these procurements associated with Terminal 8 and for new Terminal 1 as well.
Thank you, Quentin. I'll stay with you. If you have an office in Queens for over 6 years, are you considered an LBE?
I think the redevelopment makes that determination. And so they'll want to probably have some follow-up questions about where the main management team for the company is located. And so that's related. And then where your customer base is, what kind of work are you doing in Queens as well? So JFK redevelopment makes that determination, but that's certainly a good start. We do look at firms that have locations in Queens. You can always, if you have any questions about that, again, the info T8 at rfwconsultants.com. We'll certainly connect you with the folks that can answer that question.
Thank you, Quentin. Dennis, we're going back to you. Are the majority of these projects design build?
Actually, none of them are. They're design bid build. Our tenants usually would hire an architect engineer, perform a full design, get it approved through the Port Authority, then bid out the projects. So these projects are not design built.
Okay. We have a question here for payment terms. What are the payment terms for MWB subcontractors? Is it net 30 days?
So that's a good question for the subsequent events that we will have with the contractors. Those are the type of questions you can ask as you start to get more familiar with the certification processes. So these type of details can certainly be resolved and clarified with the contractors direct. So we will create that opportunity in the next sessions for the community.
Thank you. I have another one here for you. If tenants are already in the design phase, is it too late for architectural designers to get involved now?
No, it's not too late because we don't have every single space fully filled with our tenants. So we're still negotiating and exploring other opportunities and other retailers. And those opportunities obviously did not receive or did not hire a design professional at this time. So I would say there's still opportunities, but I look at it as a broader picture because during our last session, we made an emphasis on any opportunity you make as a result of this outreach will extend further out to potentially other terminals as well as possibly even other airports. So as a testament to that, we actually invited Jonathan from Terminal 1 to show everybody that there are opportunities out there. So for me, if I look at it almost from a standpoint as I'm getting in earlier for these opportunities rather than it's too late. So I would say you're earlier to the party, which is a good thing.
Thank you, Dennis. It was noted how the GCs are hired by tenant. Although it sounded as if URW will have some input, how are the A&E selected and who carries their contract? That's more along the lines for you, Jonathan. Are you able to take that?
Yeah, sure thing. So although we have a broad network of architects and engineers who we've worked with or our tenants have worked with successfully in the past, it is up to each individual tenant to hire and contract with the architects and engineers that they will work with on their projects.
Thank you, Jonathan. And Dennis, this final question is for you. I'm not going to say this person's name, but this person's work, it's a MWB certified company. They provide custom interior window treatments and installation, manual and motorized blinds, shutters, drapery. Please let me know if you have current opportunities for us.
Yeah, look, I think during our last session, we mentioned, as was when we were looking at the renderings, that some people see pretty renderings. I see various opportunities. And you can almost dissect a project in various offerings and various opportunities as it relates to subcontracting the work. So even if something so minuscule, you might think. There's certainly opportunities, and I will give you an example. We have one of our tenants that is developing a almost like a short type of stay office space that you can rent out by hours, and those little cabins will require shades. So I would say that there's going to be opportunities like that with various tenants. There will always be also opportunities for window films, shades, drapes, things like that. So I would say definitely, and I like the way that the community is thinking. So yeah.
Thank you, Dennis. This was the extent of the questions from our last session, so we can move on to the presentation, which you're going to take over.
We wanted to take an opportunity and to show respect to the community to answer a lot of these questions and use this event to do so because the process is difficult, right? It's not straightforward. There's a lot of nuances here. So we wanted to be able to provide as much clarity as possible. We wanted to show our commitment. We wanted to bring our partners at Terminal 1 to show that there's a lot of opportunities there. Hence why we took this kind of portion at the beginning to go over all these different questions. And it was done strategically as well because we did receive a lot of the similar questions. So we wanted to create the most impact by answering the questions that we did. Now, moving on to the second part, we wanted to segue into essentially the 3 subsequent events that we will have after this outreach session, which will focus heavily on introducing the prime general contractors to the community, allowing each contractor to describe their experiences in the airport community, to provide their requirements as it relates to certifications, how to partner up with them. And the way we broke them down is essentially, we will start out with our first session, part 1, which will focus on mid to large scale contractors for larger projects. And we will bring 3 contractors to talk about their processes. So CDS Mistel will be one of them, Holt Construction will be another, and VRH Construction will be the third one. For the second session, we will bring small to mid-sized contractors for a smaller projects, and we will introduce Einstein, TBL, and Bonanza Contracting to the community. And in our third session, we will bring in newcomers, contractors that are specialized in various developments to the community, and contractors that are interested in building in the airports and partnering up with local subcontractors. So it will be McKinley, Evron, EW Howell, and KLM Construction Management Firm. Now, as I mentioned, this is a phenomenal opportunity for the community to understand how the certification processes work with each contractor. It's a great opportunity to make new connections. It's a great opportunity to register with various prime subcontractors. And it's a great opportunity to get involved in the community. So I highly advise everyone to join our 3 subsequent sessions, as this will create a pretty significant awareness to the community.
We actually have a bunch of questions for all you gentlemen today. So first question is it possible to get a list or contact information for each of the approved GCs? Dennis, I'll shoot this one over to you.
Well, you just saw it on the screen, so that is a big yes.
And then if you weren't able to take a screenshot, again, you could just visit the new JFKT8.com website, event section, and all of this recording and the slides will be available to you there later on today. Second question, will there be any in-person opportunities to meet the primes? I will shoot that over to you, Dennis.
So yeah, as we mentioned, we will have 3 events that we will be conducting as the next set of sessions. As it relates to in-person, I don't believe we have anything planned in person at this time, but if there is a need and there is a desire, I think we can certainly look into that.
Okay, next question I think is for Dennis or Jonathan or both. When will the RFPs be released and when will the project bidding be open?
So what I can say as it relates to Terminal 8 specifically, we already have numerous projects that are currently going into the bidding process, right? So I would say the time is now to create this awareness. So I think we're in a perfect timing wise, in a perfect state. But from this point on, it will be every month we will be getting more and more projects ready to go out to bid. So I would say that, which is why I made such an emphasis that it would be a good opportunity for the community to join the next set of sessions, because it will create opportunities, because we have opportunities every month.
Yeah, and I can chime in really quick. Like Dennis said earlier, that it's never too early to get involved because there'll be more opportunities, whether it's with other terminals like Terminal 1 or other airports. I know just a little bit of info for Terminal 1. We're in the midst of leasing procurement for 80 some odd tenant spaces. We've got 3 RFPs out to the market. So I think with architecture and engineering will be the first kind of services that our tenants will be wanting to contract with between now and November, let's say. And then into 2025, we'll get into actual construction bidding for all the tenants.
Thank you, Jonathan and Dennis. Dennis, this question was specifically for you. I am a mill worker and would like to get involved in the fit out. How do I go about that?
Good question. And very similar as we mentioned before, we did get a lot of similar questions. So we try to make the most impact by answering the questions that we selected. I would ask you to join our next set of sessions, because this will allow you to get to know the prime contractors and also to show the type of work that you do and the set of skills you have. So that is a perfect opportunity for you to get involved. So join next sessions, get to know the contractors, the prime contractors, go through their certification process, and then from that point on, there's going to be opportunities.
Thank you, Dennis. Quentin, next couple of questions are for you.
Okay.
Do the A&E firms also need to be MWBE certified?
Yes, the A&E firms, any engineering firms that are involved with the project, to qualify for MWBE participation, yes, you must be certified.
And then, are there any veteran-owned business preferences for this project?
Not preferences. There's always a service-disabled veteran-owned business goal that's 10% for each of the projects, and that's always in reference to the number of firms that are certified in those specialty areas, those trades.
Thank you, Quentin. Next question we have is a very popular question. I'm going to send this one to you, Dennis. We are an IT supplier and service provider. Are there current opportunities available to our type of firms?
Is it like equipment, I assume?
It's equipment, any IT services, anything to do with the computers. I'm assuming overall.
I would say that, yes. I think there's always opportunities, unless we had a question if there's a land survey that you need to do, right? Like it's just, we don't really have anything like that available at this time. But yeah, I would say there's certainly opportunities there. Again, it would be good for everyone to join the subsequent sessions. It would be good for the interested parties to review our previous outreach sessions, because it specializes more into getting to know what the tenants are and how to connect with the tenants, right? So because that would most likely be a kind of a direct type of purchase scenario. So yeah, I would say definitely opportunities here in various aspects, right? Whether through a contractor or through a tenant.
Okay, thank you. Another one for you, Dennis. Will there be a need for construction supervision, construction management, construction inspection services to manage the installation of these concessions? And if so, how will these services be procured?
So I would say most definitely, absolutely. We will need, or I would say even contractors will need site supers, contractors will need workers, contractors will need owner representatives. So there's certainly opportunities there. A lot of that will be brought to the community during our next sessions. So yes, yes to everything.
Lots of yeses. Next question, Quentin, this one's for you. What is the process to become a SDVOB subcontractor?
So there is an SDVOB certification through the Port Authority. They have their own program. And the application can be accessed at PANYNJ and then SD for supply diversity.com. So that's PANYNJSD.com. And all of the certification applications can be accessed there for Port Authority. And there's a description of each of the programs, and there's a full description of the SDVOB program there as well.
Thank you, Quentin. So the next couple of questions are about scopes and what's available. So Dennis, I'm going to kind of just repeat what you've been telling everybody is join the next 3 sessions. You'll be able to meet the GCs on these projects. They'll be able to discuss the opportunities and scopes available to your firms. You can find these events at the newjfkta.com website, register. You have all the upcoming dates for them and the time for them as well.
And
next,
just if I may add just one more thing, URW is planning to do a release kind of highlighting what the type of brands that we're looking to deliver to terminals. Not yet, but it is coming soon. And that also, I would look at it as an opportunity to get in touch with those brands once they're public, to be able to gain additional business. So that would be kind of my recommendation.
Thank you, Dennis. Quentin, we have a couple questions for you. Are SBE certified firms able to bid on these projects?
Sure. SBEs are the small business enterprises, and we know that it'll take a large number of subcontractors to help us with the complete concessions program. And so, yes, although there is, I'll just say that SBE firms are included in our procurement and in our outreach plans as well.
Okay. Then the next question for you, Quentin, is how do we submit to Port Authority to become certified? Is there a link that we can access? And if so, can you share that with us?
Sure. Those applications, as I mentioned, can be accessed, and maybe someone could put it in the chat for us, Rosie. It's www.PANYNJSD, and the SD is for supplier diversity.com. And a description of all of the Port Authority certification programs appears there. And you'll see a link there on the left of the screen that says start the application process. And once you click on that link, you can set up a profile for your company, add information for that profile, and you can access all of the certification applications from there. And as always, if you get stuck anywhere, need some additional assistance in getting there, always send us an email at info@rfwconsultants.com.
Thank you. And then last question that we have, again, are there opportunities anticipated for project management services? Dennis, I'll give you the last one.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely project management services will be a big component of successfully delivering the projects. As I mentioned, URW will be releasing in the near future the brands that we're delivering to the Terminal 8, and I'm sure similar will be done in Terminal 1, and I would highly advise these type of businesses to reach out to the tenants direct and offer the services that they have available as it relates to project management. So
Thank you, Dennis, Quentin, Jonathan, and Elson. This was a great session. Our next session will be August 5th, intro to the general contractors. You'll meet the next 3 GCs, and then following that, you'll have 2 more sessions to meet and listen to the other GCs. If you need access to this presentation or past events, please visit the newjfkt8.com website. And if you have any questions that weren't able to get answered today or any that come up after this session, please reach out to info@rfwconsultants.com. Thank you guys and have a great day.